Hey everybody, welcome in to the back room episode. I always forget. John
29,000.
Sean Henniger, Tyler Johns here with you, and yeah, you don't have to be quiet. It's okay.
There's no rules in this place.
Yeah, we're not super serious on this show, as you can tell, which is why we spend half our time destroying the people up here. So anyway, our topic today, with it's October now. It's Halloween. There's a Halloween Mystery Fifth Hour out there. We didn't necessarily want to copy that one, but new Exorcist movies coming out this week. I don't know if y'all are excited for it or not.
I actually read the original Exorcist book. Went through it. I don't know why the hell I read it, but like in 2017, out of nowhere, I picked up reading heavily again, and I think I read like 52 books, including The Stand and It, and also Under the Dome, which is like 1,100-page book. I went through a little phase of, I would call it depression, and I read a lot. But The Exorcist was one of the ones I read. And I don't think I still have not seen the original Exorcist movie with Selma Blair.
Have you seen it?
Selma Blair.
I've seen the original.
Selma Blair's a different person. Have you seen The Exorcist?
I have seen the original, yes.
Did you like it?
I did like it. I
Was
haven't
it actually
seen.
scary to you?
It wasn't actually scary to me, but I think that's just because of my age. So.
Okay. A lot of people think I'm not a horror movie person, so of course I'm leading this discussion here. But bye, Taylor.
Bye, Taylor.
Bye.
Have a good night.
But yeah, everybody always talks about The Exorcist. Oh man, it's so scary. It actually like messed me up when I watched it. But I'm just never gonna watch it. And I'm not gonna watch this new one either. I've heard it's awful.
It looks awful.
I think Blumhouse paid like $400 million for the rights for it or something, and
That's pretty good.
they're not gonna make that back. They're gonna do a whole new trilogy, but this one sucks, so they might not get past this one. At least from what I've heard, because I'm not gonna go see it. But with horror movies, you know, there's a lot to talk about with that when it comes to Halloween and the month of October. New Saw just came out. Anybody a Saw fan? Yeah.
I was a fan of the very early ones. I like 1 and 2, and then 3, they completely go off the rails, and it just keeps going for 8 more movies.
Interesting.
I think I've seen half of the first one. I was like, I get the gist of it. I'm not into the gruesome.
See, I'm not either. I think you
Gory.
can make really good horror movies that actually make you think and actually make you scared and everything without ever shedding a single drop of blood.
Yeah, I don't. And like the sounds, it like when they're stabbed, like it's just so over the top.
Yeah. However, I will say, when it comes to horror movies, I avoided horror movies like the plague. I never wanted to watch them. I never wanted to be around them. I never even wanted to hear about them until I became an intern for a little show called The Round Table. And the only reason I know anything about horror movies is because you would have, I don't remember what the name of the channel was, but it's some like horror movie channel that you would have on in the
Chiller.
Chiller, that was it. Yeah,
Chiller.
You'd have that channel on, and I ended up watching some gruesome horror movies. I did not want
Because
to
it was
watch.
like bad horror films.
But-
Like
I ended
awful
up-
B-level horror films.
Only thing I remember is Hellraiser was on one time.
Pinhead.
And I saw a little bit of that. Did not like it. Did not want anything to do with it, but it was on. I just remember eating during it because I used to always go get us lunch as an intern. They would buy our lunch, but I would have to go get it. And so me and Rocky would be sitting in the back eating lunch, watching horror movies. Didn't do well for me. And I remember watching Freddy vs. Jason. See, until my wife made me watch the first Friday the 13th, which doesn't even have Jason in it, until the end. That's the only Jason movie I've ever seen is Freddy vs. Jason, because it randomly came on TV and you just happened to have it on. So I ended up watching a lot of random, just totally random horror movies back in the day.
Well, to give a little backstory on why I had it on Chiller, when we would do the show, we'd have a TV above us, but you couldn't listen to the audio. You had to have closed captioning. I was like, the funniest thing was how about a horrible, campy horror movie on? This is the whole network. It's just 24/7 of these terrible horror movies where you can just watch and laugh, where you don't have to follow dialogue. So I think I just turned it to that, or instead of being on SportsCenter nonstop.
Yeah, which to be fair, just keeping on SportsCenter is literally listening to SportsCenter pretty much while you're doing it. So it is funny to leave it on like. Now, instead of the horror movies, I was always a fan of like TBS or something with like Family Guy reruns. But yeah, I ended up watching a lot of those. So thanks for scarring me for life.
Opening your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was just sitting there making some notes of when 12 gave me this topic because he was all about horror movies, unlike me. So
And your wife is all about horror movies.
yeah, it's funny. You know, I've been around Tim for the last I just said his name. I've been around him for the last 12 years, and he constantly talks horror. And was like, you need to check this out. You need to check this out. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to deal with it. Then I marry my wife, Laurel, who also has worked for the show as well. She's obsessed with horror, and we're about to go to Halloween Horror Nights down in Orlando here in a few weeks, and I'm going to have to go through a haunted house based off the new Exorcist movie, which I'm not looking forward to. But
Sacrilegious.
the thing is, there's good. I was telling somebody about this yesterday. With haunted houses, I don't just like haunted houses for the sake of going through a haunted house, like just for the sake of being scared and seeing gruesome stuff and everything. Like, the one thing I like about Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios in Orlando is, like, and they do it at the Hollywood one too, is there's like some IP that you actually would like. Like, they do Stranger Things, so like I'm gonna like that because I like Stranger Things as a show, even though I guess it's technically horror too. Like, it's kind of more sci-fi to me than horror a lot of times. But like, it's cool to see that and see like scenery. Like, there was one based off Us. When that movie came out, I guess it's probably been 5 years since that movie came out. But like, it was just cool to see scenery, like that, like actual scenery and stuff from the movies. It was cool to see that. But like, for the most part, they just do these
Jump scares.
gruesome horror, things, haunted houses, and it is all about just jump scares. And that's to me, that's the thing I don't like about horror movies. Number one, I don't want to see people getting like brutally killed. Number two, I don't care about jump scares. It's cheap to me. Like, a true scary movie does not need a jump scare in it too, I believe.
Correct. But do you like the paranormal activities and all that kind of thing? I don't like those. I hate found footage films. Ever since Blair Witch, I hate that all these people started doing found footage where it's just shaky camera everywhere.
Blair Witch just made me nauseous.
Yeah. And all these, I think that's finally started dying down, the found footage stuff.
Only found footage thing I like is Cloverfield. I love Cloverfield.
I've seen
but outside of that,
Lane. Cloverfield Lane's awesome.
10 Cloverfield Lane isn't really good. The third one, Cloverfield Paradox, it's more of like just a normal horror movie. Is that
the one that they went straight to Netflix?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Cloverfield.
Nobody even knew it existed until the Super Bowl. They put a commercial on and said, hey, it's out right now.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think that is incredible marketing to nobody even knows about it. You spend all your marketing on one Super Bowl commercial, and it's out. It's just there on Netflix. So a lot of people watched it, but it was a huge disappointment. And you could tell it was a movie that that's the bad thing about Cloverfield. J.J. Abrams is kind of behind that, along with some other people, and like, they find movies and they just say, we're going to throw the Cloverfield name on it.
Yes.
And make it in this universe all of a sudden. That's what they did with that one. And they've talked about doing it with some other. A Quiet Place was one of those that was going to be a Cloverfield movie for a while, and it probably would have worked that way, but ultimately I think it was better. I don't know if y'all seen A Quiet Place or not. But
Quiet Place, that was a good film. That's the kind of horror, like, I'm more into the psychological thrillers. I don't like gore. What's the one with, not it, but the clown movie that everybody... Terrifier, like, it's just like, it's even more gruesome than the first one. It's like, I don't care for that stuff, where somebody has their guts eaten by a wolf pack or something like that. I don't care about gore. I don't care about the Michael Myers stuff, where it's just a stalking killer that can't be killed. It's just going to go to another sequel next year. Never got into those. I watched Freddy Krueger as a kid. That's the first time I ever saw a movie by myself in the theater, was Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Because they had it in the last 10 minutes was 3D or something like that. And I remember I was in the theater alone, and there was some high school kids. I was probably in 4th grade. There was high school kids like 6 rows ahead of me, and then there was nobody else in the theater, and they were drinking beer, and it really scared the shit out of me. But they were drinking beer in the theater, because that's not legal. You can't do it. I heard bottles going on, but then you have Freddy killing people and making one-liners. My first rated R movie by myself in the theater. So
I don't even remember what my first rated R movie was. I do remember going.
I think my parents went to see they wanted to go see this, and I was like, I begged them to see Freddy's Dead. Like, you're not gonna have nightmares? No. And then I went in by myself.
I remember going to see Scary Movie. Like, that was one of the first ones I remember going to see.
I'm a big Scary Movie 2 is awesome.
I never wanted to see Scream or anything. Like, I eventually watched the first Scream with my dad, and I've seen the last 2 with my wife. I haven't seen 2, 3, or 4 yet. But when Scary Movie came out, I thought, this is gonna be funny. And like, they eventually get away from being super violent in the latter ones, but the first couple were.
Awesome.
But the first couple were, and then I don't want to get into certain scenes, but there's one scene that really like started messing me up with a Scary Movie, and I was like, yeah, I'm out. I can't watch this one. And
I kind of want to see.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear what from Scary Movie messed you up.
Scary Movie 2, they have the bathroom stall scene.
No, that's Scary Movie 1. That's what I'm talking about. Is that Scary Movie 1?
Scary Movie 2. No. That could be Scary Movie 1. Yeah, you didn't like that scene?
With the hole in the bathroom stall?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't like that.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
No, okay. Anyway, but there are horror movies now. Like there are starting to be horror movies now that I do enjoy. They may have their moments where they have a couple of like gross things I don't want to see, but like when I go through like the major franchises, okay, like Halloween is one. The first movie there's violence, but there's really no blood in it, so like I can watch that. I haven't seen any of them since, and I don't plan on it. I know you love Rob Zombie's Halloween, but
I do.
we can get into a whole debate about that.
I feel like number 12 will come out of his office and fight me.
He will. That's why we're not going to get into it. Scream. Are y'all Scream people at all?
I think I've seen
love
the first
one.
First one. I've seen the first one. It was okay. The whole thing's okay. I just don't really care about those. Friday the 13th in general. I mean, there's a million of them, but
they're all. I mean, like for what they are, they're all right. I don't understand why he's got to have like a. He didn't use the same. I remember like the first one, he'd kill somebody with like a bow and arrow or something like that, and then like he goes into like a weed whacker, and then I mean it's just like then finally the standard for like the last 3 movies has been the machete. Just stick with the machete.
yeah. But there's 3 directors that I've thought about. Two current. One's been around for a while, but still current. One's way more new, and one's old. So the old one is Hitchcock. You like Hitchcock? You don't like Hitchcock? I mean, I feel like his movies.
I loved Rear Window.
You could watch his
good.
movies and be like, it's not overly violent. I mean, I know a lot. He couldn't. It's kind of thing with Psycho is he kind of got away with stuff in Psycho for the first time, but Psycho to me, my wife made me watch Psycho, of course.
The Vince Vaughn version.
Huh?
The Vince Vaughn version.
No, the actual old version, but. Like the violence, I know, like when he stabbed her in the shower and everything, that's super iconic and all that. But it's actually kind of early in the movie. But I can watch that stuff okay, like the birds and all. Like it's.
Did you watch?
like the
did you watch Bates Motel?
No, my wife talks about it all the time.
It was a good show.
She said it was good.
I watched like 2 or 3. I think there was like 4 or 5. I did not watch the final season. I think that's when it went like almost to a streaming service, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I was watching
it was
for
on
the
AMC.
first maybe 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And stopped watching.
Yeah,
After
It's got a lot of people and stuff in it.
The dude who played Norman Bates was fantastic. He's the good doctor now, whatever his name is.
Oh yeah.
Freddie Highmore.
Yeah, and he's
like
British too, isn't he? I guarantee he's British.
That
That name sounds British.
No. In Bates Motel or Good Doctor? I
No,
don't
in
know.
Bates Motel. Wasn't Rihanna in it?
She may be on. I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway.
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife always messes his name up too. All right, what about M. Night Shyamalan?
I give him a chance.
It's a no from Tyler.
I still haven't forgiven him for what he did to Avatar: The Last Airbender. So
Which I heard was in the top 50 of shows all time, by the way. It was on that list they just did.
Loved Signs. Actually, loved Unbreakable. Loved The Village. Hated Lady in the Water. Absolutely despised The Happening.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense was. I'm trying to think of there's 3. So Unbreakable, Split, and what was the final? Glass.
Yeah.
I thought Split was good. Glass was a little. I don't think they should have made Glass. Of all, like if he's made 10 movies, I probably not loved but enjoyed 5 or 6 of it. He's batting 50% for me. So I mean, like to come up to have everybody think that you have to have what's the Knock at the Cabin?
Yeah.
I like that was but I think he's put himself where I have to have this shocking ending, this huge twist every time now, and then people are going to always be disappointed when that's your twist. So I feel like he started this genre of being the twist with Sixth Sense and everything. So I give him more credit than I'm not a hater on him. I did not see The Last Airbender. I don't care about The Last Airbender.
Minus The Last Airbender.
I don't blame you. Other than that movie, I like maybe
Signs, a great movie.
2 of the movies I've seen. I really liked Split. I haven't seen Glass or Unbreakable. And then, I'm trying to think. Oh, Sixth Sense was the other one I enjoyed.
The
I feel
Village
like
is
Sixth
great.
Sense is the one everybody goes to because obviously it was nominated for a bunch of Oscars, and that is one of the first like really big twists, and I guess probably one of the biggest twists in all of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
The Village did not do it for me.
I loved it.
I like Signs, all right. Unbreakable's my favorite of his. I actually have not seen Split. I've seen Glass, but I haven't seen Split. I know enough about Split to be able to enjoy Glass, which was okay.
The best thing about Glass, I think it was McAvoy's doing like 20 personalities in one take in like 2 minutes, and it's incredible.
Yeah. The Happening was awful.
Yeah, it was god awful.
Was that the one with Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
I have seen that one.
All you have to say is Mark Wahlberg.
So bad. I like Mark Wahlberg for the most part. He does a lot of bad movies, but that was arguably the worst. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Have you seen Old?
Yes, I think that's the one. That is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. The most poorly written movies and poorly acted movies I've ever seen
It's
in my
not as bad
life.
as it happening. I thought Old was okay.
Just it's a cool concept, but the acting and the writing is just atrocious. And it's just like I remember, like a kid's like the first scene, the British woman and her kids, like somebody's choking on something or something like that, and then the way she introduces herself, like, my name's Margaret, I'm a nurse, I should be. It's just so uncomfortable, and like the hot pseudo hot model young wife and everything. It was just so poorly acted. It was almost comedic to me.
Have you seen Old?
I have not.
I'm curious to get your take on Old. I thought Old was kind of him finally kind of sort of coming back. It was just okay.
He didn't write it, though.
But it still has a twist. He's still got to be in it, of course. Like, I thought it was okay. And then my problem with Knock at the Cabin, he didn't write Knock at the Cabin either. It's based off a book.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a spoiler for it. I don't know. I mean, it's been a year and a half since it came out.
What I did like about I think I told you this when I was Knock at the Cabin, it starts immediately. Like, there's no build up. Like,
it does.
The movie starts right. Like, it starts. Like, there's nothing.
Yeah, like what you see in the trailer is literally like the first scene of the movie. I don't mind that. What I didn't mind about it was there was no twist at the end.
Because if it wasn't M. Night Shyamalan, would you expected a twist?
No.
Okay,
But the problem is he has built himself that way. I feel like you got.
But would you have liked the movie if Ron Howard directed it? It was just like that because you expect with.
I probably would have had about the same score. You do expect that extra little bit.
Yeah.
That it's not necessarily a great movie, but the twist is like, whoa, that's kind of cool. I didn't see that coming. I don't know. I thought it was a good movie. Like I love Batista.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I think Batista's one of the best actors out there right now. But I like Jonathan Groff. I like a lot of people in it. Ron from Harry Potter, but it just, I don't know. It got to the end, and I was like,
"That's it."
That's it. I don't want to say what happened, but anyway. What about Jordan Peele?
Overrated. I think Get Out is I say it all the time. It is the skeleton key.
It is.
I liked Us a little better than Get Out. I liked Nope a lot better than Us. But I still like out of those three movies, I guess Nope is my favorite one, but I didn't love it. But like I thought Get Out was such a ripoff of the Skeleton Key.
You need to stick to comedy in your mind.
I thought he's hilarious. Key and Peele are awesome. I love the original Twilight Zone. I have never seen one of his Twilight Zone episodes.
I forgot he made that.
Because I think it was on CBS for us. I think it immediately went to Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
So I never saw any of those. He's not bad. I just think that I think he's too high of a pedestal where it's like anything he touches. And is he working on something new?
I'm sure he is. I mean, he's always got something cooking.
But I would say out of the three he's done, Nope is the latest one's my favorite. So I'll give him. I'll still see the next one. But like the first one is to Get Out. The one he's most known for is just I did not like.
What about you?
I've only seen Get Out and Us. I haven't seen Nope yet. I really enjoyed Get Out, but I also hadn't seen Skeleton Key or any of the movies you guys were talking about earlier today. And Us was all right.
See, for me, it's gone down from each one because I have seen the Skeleton Key now because when we walked out of Get Out, I didn't walk out of Get Out. We weren't dating at the time, but I wanted to Get Out, and I was like, look, I think that's a really good movie. I understand all the hype behind it and everything. And then Laurel, as we walked out of Us, was like, you got to watch the Skeleton Key. We went home, watched the Skeleton Key. And it's like, that's just like Get Out. And I was like, okay, it is just like Get Out. Now I can understand people's complaint at the time. Like, I'm one of those people that I hate the crowd who always goes in and is like, oh, the book was so much better than the movie. The movie can be good and the book can be good, and they can be good independent of each other, and they can be bad independent of each other, but it's always, I go in expecting it's got to be just like the book that I loved. But if you make certain changes to it, like Harry Potter, I've read all the Harry Potter books. I loved them. I read them when they came out. And then, like, my favorite one was The Goblet of Fire, but the movie left so much of the book out, and I was disappointed, but at the same time, like, it's a good movie. Like, I like the movie. I like the casting choices they made. I like the choices they did make to ultimately make the movie. For me, like, I hate when people go in with this, preconceived idea and don't just enjoy it for the movie that it is. Well, a lot of times. But the same thing kind of goes with, like, Get Out. Like, Get Out can still be a good, independently made movie outside the Skeleton Key, even though there are a lot of the same things happening in it.
I read the first 3 Harry Potter books. I think I quit on the 4th. And just to show you people's interpretation, I guess I wasn't paying attention, but what's his name, Hagrid?
Yeah.
In the books I was reading, I thought he was a big animal. So when Nancy was like, you got to watch the Sorcerer's Stone or whatever, I was like, I read the book and I see Hagrid, I was like, it's a dude. So it's like it's almost
Giant.
like So it's just like that's like people's interpretation of what I see in my head when I'm reading it is, oh, this is just some big talking bear type thing, and it's just a dude with a beard. So I think it's all like when somebody says, "Wow, the book was much better," because in your mind, I don't see. Because I remember reading the Da Vinci Code, and I remember it's like Tom Hanks is going to be playing the lead of.
Yeah.
So it's just that kind of stuff. Or like, what's it called? Jack Reacher. My mom reads all the Jack Reacher books. She's like, Tom Cruise is 5'7". Jack Reacher in the thing is like 6'5", 300 pounds, and Tom Cruise is going to play that guy. So that's my defense of that. But I will never be the snob of going like, the Grapes of Wrath was much better book.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was The Dark Tower. They did a movie of that with Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. And I remember walking out of the movie being like, yeah, it's all right. I wouldn't mind seeing more of this. And it got destroyed by the whole book is better than the movie crowd.
It was also like 50 books, and it's like a ton of books.
It is. And I know that's like Stephen King's like overarching universe or whatever is what The Dark Tower is. But like, I just remember, I remember like fighting people online about like, stop with the whole book's better than the movie thing. Like, you can make a movie independent of the book and everything. That's like the one. I don't know why I Want to Die on the Hill, because it wasn't even that good of a movie, but it was good. I just didn't think it was great. But like, I remember fighting people over that. But I say the same thing for horror movies. The thing with horror movies is I feel like there's a lot of overlap because you can only come up with so many ideas, which is why it is good when you get some unique ideas. Like, I thought Us was, I'm sure there's some horror movie out there that Us copied, but I thought Us was a cool idea and how it ultimately played out. And there's a lot of new horror movies coming from like A24 and studios like that are different and kind of stand out and everything. And I mean, like, to me, like a movie to me is like The Whale. Like, that's a horror movie.
Still haven't seen it.
Like, it's like there's scenes in that are more uncomfortable than like going to the bloodiest horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, there's just certain movies out there and things have kind of evolved to what horror actually is, and it's not just like slasher movies. And look, if that's your thing, that's cool. Like, go watch a new Scream movie when it comes out. Go watch, I don't even know what to say about The Exorcist coming out.
It's been 15 years and I still know exactly what you did 2 summers ago.
But I do kind of like how some studios and distributors are finding some more independent stuff and all, and have kind of switched things around. Ari Aster, who did Hereditary and Midsommar. I really like Midsommar. I'm never going to watch Hereditary. But he did Beau Was Afraid, which is the most bizarre movie I've ever seen in my life. It came out this year. It's got Joaquin Phoenix in it. It's got a bunch of people in it, but like, that's kind of what horror is kind of becoming, I guess. Like, it's weird, but like, it's horror at the same time. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I kind of like how things are evolving, and I'm willing to give that stuff more of a chance than just like, yeah, this is going to be the most brutal, horror movie you've ever seen. That stuff, that's cheap to me. I don't know about y'all.
Go ahead.
Gosh. So, what was your question? I'm sorry.
I didn't have a question. I just kind of
He's making a statement.
I just kind of stopped talking. Okay, so that's the back room.
Okay.
I never know how to end this thing. We just kind of.
I think we should all switch shirts. We all have hoodies on.
Make sure you go to mybookie.ag, code next round, first deposit bonus. Go bet on all the games that you get at lanceslock.com and subscribe there as well. Use code LOCK for a first discount.
Whew. Real quick, could you tell the difference between the theme song from The Exorcist or Halloween in less than 5 seconds?
I don't even know the theme for the episode.
Yeah, that's the theme for The Exorcist.
The dun 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 dun. It's the same thing as Halloween. I'll play it to you because we don't want to get sued, but I'll play it for you later. I think, or I could be totally wrong. Put in LOCK on your promo code and hit that smash button.
Go like us on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Grinder.
Farmersonly.com and
Adult Friend Finder.
yeah, are we done?
Yeah. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.